unlike some of the fights that you'll see that are just single card eliminations, where obviously there's a lot on the line because you want to win and you want to progress. Being in a tournament, you know there's a lot on the line. Imada runs out to the middle of the ring. He's ready to get this going, and let's see what he can give Masvidal with regards to some punches and kicks.
Again, the winner here moves on to the lightweight tournament championship, June 19th, Seminole Hard Rock Hotel in Hollywood, Florida.
Masvidal definitely has a reach advantage, clearly. See if he can exploit that using that jab. I expect Imada here to just strike enough to get inside and use some of that judo. I can't imagine he's going to want to stand with Jorge Masvidal.
17 wins for Masvidal, not one of them by submission, so you know he wants to stand and trade as opposed to being on the ground against Toby. Interesting, Masvidal saying he wants to break Imada's will and spirit and really break him mentally. You talk to the Imada people, and they say if there's one thing you can guarantee about Toby, he's not going to be broken mentally. So,
well, that's kind of like the fun part to watch.
You know it. Again, so much on the line here, about a minute in. We certainly expected a feel-out process between these two warriors, and that's what we've gotten so far.
I'm like a kid in a candy shop watching this fight,
I'm telling you, you got to remember to commentate, right? You just want to watch the action.
That's right. We got to talk about this.
Mics are hot.
There you go. And so are the hands of Jorge Masvidal, throwing 4 or 5 punches down the middle. He connected with a couple of those there. Nothing too big, but punches nonetheless that did connect. And this is a matchup that a ton of people in the mixed martial arts community wanted to see also. I mean, you look at Eddie Alvarez, the dream matchup clearly being Eddie Alvarez against Jorge Masvidal. And looking at this fight also, Toby Imada, been fighting for a long time, has a ton of fans, and when people heard that these two were going to be fighting in the semifinal round, all the boards lit up.
Now, Toby Imada has competed primarily as a welterweight throughout his career, so, you know, the size discrepancy shouldn't necessarily be a huge factor, but you see a huge difference here. I mean, you can't help but notice how much smaller a man Toby Imada is in terms of the height, in terms of the reach. You know what, I got to give Toby Imada credit. He's been pressing the action, and he doesn't show that he's too afraid of moving into Masvidal's reach. He really needs to get inside, though, of Masvidal. Masvidal's a fantastic counter striker, and he's just kind of taking his time and pacing it, and working that jab, and his great footwork, getting out of the range there, Imada. You hear Toby's corner yelling, hands up. And if there's somebody you should be yelling it against, it would be Jorge Masvidal. You've seen a lot of boxing in your day. How does the boxing in MMA compare to some of the boxing you've seen in the boxing community? Well, I mean, I think most people would argue that the boxers on the elite level, their hands are just second to none. But I think you're seeing in mixed martial arts, as the sport continues to evolve, that, you know, the strong wrestlers of the world are able to focus on their striking because they're so confident in the wrestling, and they do develop world-class boxing skills. I certainly think Anderson Silva could hang with, you know, some of the 170-pound boxers in the world. Absolutely. Well, that's why they call this mixed martial arts, because there's so many ways to end fights, and Toby Imada trying to find a way to get inside and end this fight. Jorge Masvidal being able to keep him at the end of those punches. Exactly what Gamebred's plan is here. Oh, and a good inside trip by Masvidal. I didn't see that coming. Who'd have thought that Masvidal wanted to take down Imada? Huge right hand for Masvidal there. Toby showing off the chin, but I don't know how many more of those roundhouse right hands he can take. Imada did a good job of getting back up. I think Masvidal's game plan looks like it's just to knock out. Oh, good left knee. Oh, and he hangs on to the leg. Imada has shown a really good chin there. And both of these guys just really going at it. Both punches have been exchanged well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm more impressed with, Masvidal's striking or Imada's ability to withstand the punishment. And Imada's been pushing forward on Masvidal, saying, you know, that he feels just as comfortable on his on his feet as he does on his back or on the ground for that matter. And Masvidal showing the exact same thing with an inside leg trip, good wrestling takedown that he had on Imada there. I tell you, if you're Imada, that's going to shock you. People tend to think that because Masvidal's majority of his wins come by knockout, that, you know, okay, maybe he's a one-dimensional fighter and you're going to go in and take this guy down. And you haven't seen Imada look for any takedowns yet. He feels pretty comfortable on his feet, and
So far, this round's kind of been hard to gauge, but I'm going to have to give it to Masvidal just for that takedown that he had, a couple good counter punches.
Certainly, I would agree with you there. I mean, credit Imada for forcing the action, but I think the cleaner, more accurate strikes have landed for Jorge Masvidal. So a hotly contested 5 minutes in the books. Round 2, Masvidal and Imada coming up next.
Jorge Masvidal.
So if you're in Toby Imada's corner, I mean, obviously you understand where you're at a disadvantage in this fight. What's the strategy?
If I'm in Toby Imada's corner, I think I'm going to tell him to work inside more. I mean, he has nothing to prove by standing with Jorge, and unless he just hasn't really figured out a way to get inside, you know, you're a second-degree judo black belt, so clearly your clinch from a throwing point of view, guys like Carl Parisian and stuff, you know, you got to get inside. He's got reach on you. We're going to see if Imada is able to do that. A little accidental punch in the eye there.
Nice head movement there from Imada, or excuse me, Masvidal, to get out of the way.
You know, I got to say, so far I've been impressed with Imada being able to hang with Masvidal on the feet. Masvidal definitely getting the better of the exchanges. I would say primarily due to that reach advantage, but Imada, no slouch, man. Bringing it to him.
I mean, you got to think, regardless of what happens tonight, in this fight by no means over, but Toby Imada's future, not only in Bellator, but in mixed martial arts, is very good.
Yeah, I think we're going to see both of these guys fight a whole lot for Bellator. They're both aggressive fighters. Masvidal. Nice little uppercut there.
Nice right hand from Masvidal lands.
You hear Imada's corner yelling, "Don't stay there."
Gotta move.
Yeah, clearly
Gotta move.
part of the game plan is not just to sit in front and let Masvidal pick you apart on your feet. Imada's did some good head movement, good foot movement, backing in and out of range. I'm just waiting to see if he's going to take this fight to the ground. That would be where I would assume he's going to have the most definitive advantage.
John Anik, Jason Chambers at the Holler Arena, Dayton, Ohio. Lightweight tournament semifinals, Jorge Masvidal and Toby Imada. We go under 3 minutes in round number 2, and I guess, Jay, sort of how we expected it to go down between these two warriors through about 7 minutes.
Yeah, one of the things I'm really impressed with is that not only has Imada been able to hang with Masvidal on his feet, but they're both mixing up their punches well. They're not throwing looping punches. They're nice and tight and clean, and they're mixing up their angles. You'll see Imada throws a few uppercuts in there, and he's got Masvidal backpedaling now. Ooh, nice right hand down the pipe. Up clean your clock, a couple of those connect.
Yeah, that'll do it, huh? And Masvidal really active with those hands now.
We're halfway through round 2. John, I'm going to put some heat on you. Who do you give this round 2 so far?
I think it's got to be Jorge Masvidal. I mean, I think Toby Imada has tremendous respect for Jorge's power, and I think he's just been a little bit too deliberate and a little bit too inactive here in round number 2. I think so far, you know, I'd give the first 8 minutes, certainly the first round to Masvidal, and status quo here in round 2. Nice jab there, though, by Imada, lands flush.
Well, if you're just looking gauged on who's landed the most amount of punches, Imada's face looks a little more red, a little more swollen, and I don't think that Jordan really has anything to show for some of these exchanges. Right. Again, a lot of that attributed to the reach advantage. That jab just keeps popping Imada in the face, and you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And of course, one of the scoring criterion for the judges is cage control, and certainly Jorge seems to be in complete control of what's going on in the Bellator circuit.
Oh, nice. Caught that leg, wasn't able to capitalize on it, but oh, it's a good right hand.
You see Jorge, though, the minute his opponent tries to engage and clinch him in, he just mixes up the strikes and tries to get out of the clinch. It's really a gifted mixed martial artist, Jorge Masvidal.
Speaking of, I mean, he's so fast in these punches. By the time, you know, we look at our monitors here and we're looking up inside of the cage, the action, that punch has come so fast. All we see is a black blur that was whizzing near Imada's head. And I have to assume that was a right hand. Not to take anything away, you know, Imada does look like a good boxer. He's been land on his feet, been able to connect with some good punches of his own.
Well, again, now you start to see Toby's face up close, and he's really taking some punishment here. Some blood over and around the right eye, and a huge swelling there under the right eye, Jay.
Yeah, you know, Imada really needs to work inside, or he's just going to kind of have this constant battle going where he's going to... He keeps moving forward on Masvidal, throwing these punches. And Masvidal's doing a good job of just sticking him with the jab when he's coming in and setting up his own counter punches, moving side to side and not just going straight back. if I'm Imada at this point, I have to go 2-3 punches, get inside, get the clinch, and start working the ground.
So we go under 10 seconds to go in the second round. Another strong round for Jorge Masvidal. Toby Imada hanging tough. We'll see what he has.
Because he wants to strike like a tiger and finish a fight when he feels, when he smells some blood.
We knew Toby Imada, sorry to cut you off, we knew Toby Imada was going to be difficult to finish, but the question is, how does he get the finish? How does he turn the tide here and get things to swing in his favor? How about
you got him
in?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get inside to the clinch, like I just said. And this is the first time we've seen Imada with the clinch, and being a second-degree judo black belt, I'm going to assume he's going to feel comfortable with the takedown. And there it is.
You're a prophet tonight.
Oh, he's on the back of. Oh, he got a choke, but it wasn't in deep enough. See, and just like that, now you've got Jorge Masvidal. Great exchange of action with both guys. You see, Imada had a rear naked choke there for about a half a second, wasn't able to lock it in, and again, Jorge Masvidal, fantastic jiu-jitsu, and just really underrated because he finishes most of his fights with strikes.
And again, for a guy who's 5'10", Masvidal just so quick. The minute he senses any remote trouble, able to get out of harm's way, and he just makes it look so seamless and so easy.
A lot of reach. Another guy in American Top Team that's a light guy has a lot of reach, Dean Thomas. That guy's got a ton of reach too. And a nice head kick now to Imada by Masvidal, starting to mix it up a little bit. You don't see Masvidal throw a whole lot of kicks. He just kind of plays a safe game. He knows what he's good at. He's got the reach on his opponents, and when he feels like there's that opening space, he's going to take it. And now with Imada there, not able to capitalize on getting in the clinch there.
Greg Franklin stepping in the way there.
I expect he'll touch gloves and get right back into the thick of things here. Imada's eyes, right eye is kind of swelling shut, a little bit. And he touched gloves, show respect there.
Well, the time is now for Toby Imada, about 3 minutes and change here to go in the third and final round. A spot in the Bellator Lightweight Championship on June 19th is on the line, as is $50,000. And Jorge Masvidal would appear to be 3 minutes away from reaching the final.
Yeah, unless something dramatically happens here, Jorge Masvidal, I think, will have won this fight. Just doing a fantastic job of using that reach. And then that's what you see as you see smart fighters, you know. What he does best is he has a reach advantage. He's a great boxer. He's using that jab. He's probably throwing 70, 80 jabs now, just keeping, just like that, just keeping Imada at bay. Just keeps popping that left hand out there. Like to see that, not trying to put together 4 or 5 combinations. That's going to open up and let Imada get inside and work that clinch, just picking apart those shots. You know, a lot of guys you see like Chuck Liddell, they backpedal, they just kind of use that jab, and as they backpedal, they throw those pinpoint accuracy punches, and it's good night.
Both these guys look very fresh with about 2 minutes to go in the fight.
Yeah, Imada definitely looks fresh. Oh, and a good double leg. Masvidal not having any of it.
Yeah, let's able to stuff it pretty easily there.
Oh, let's see if he's able to finish. Oh, Masvidal now in on a single leg. Oh, this is going to be interesting. How does this end? They don't teach you any moves from this position, let me tell you.
You see Imada locking in on Masvidal's neck there with his leg.
Yeah, Imada's backwards on an upside-down triangle. Oh, Masvidal's unconscious! Oh my God, a huge upset! An upside-down triangle from the back of Toby Imada. Huge upset win. Moving on.
Have you ever seen anything like it?
I don't even know what that is.
An upside-down triangle choke, as Jason Chambers called it, and Toby Imada, the 3-1 underdog, loses the first 2 rounds and sends Jorge Masvidal back to Miami disappointed. Toby Imada.
A triangle choke renders the red corner unconscious, forcing referee Greg Franklin to stop the bout with an official time of 3 minutes, 22 seconds of round number 3. Your winner, by way of technical knockout, and moving on to the finals of the Bellator Fighting Championships Lightweight Tournament, Toby Imada.